If your Kenmore or Samsung dryer has stopped producing heat, have a look at this video. I'll show you how to fix that problem, order the parts from Amazon, and save yourself $300–400 in service charges. We're going to take the top of the dryer off, and you do that by removing two of these $400 in service charges. The dryer. Push the lid back and lift it up, and it will come off. The front control panel is clipped in, and you simply pull it towards you. The control panel sits on two simple plastic hinges on the front of the dryer. To get the front panel off the dryer, you're going to take two screws out of the right side and two out of the left side. Open the door of the dryer and you will see two screws. These also have to be removed. You can take out the link catcher if you wish, but it's not necessary. Push down on the two tabs and the front panel will come away from the dryer. But note, there is a wire that has to be disconnected just inside the front panel. Now we're going to take off the cover for the hot air exhaust. This cover does not have to be removed, but I did in order to clean the machine properly. You'll be surprised how much lint and debris is inside this cover. You will increase the efficiency of your dryer if you remove any lint or debris in this exhaust fan. Disconnect this wire. The heating element sits on a stand, and that stand has three screws that have to be removed. This part is a bit tricky. You have to hold the heating element up as you wiggle out the stand. Now you can pull the heating element out of the dryer. The red and green arrows point out the two thermostats that we will replace, and the ceramic holder is where the heating element is wired through. Before you pull off the leads, it's a good idea to take a picture to ensure that you get the right wires back onto the connectors once the repair is done. Looking into the dryer, you can see the round holder where the heating element came from. It's a good idea to clean any lint or debris that might be inside the dryer. Next, we're going to remove all of these screws from the two thermostats and the housing of the heating element. Notice near the ceramic holder that the sheet metal is hinged together. As you pull the two pieces apart, don't bend it too much because you have to put it back together again, and that can be a bit annoying if it's all out of whack. The heating and cooling of these spiral wires leaves them brittle and they will break. If you take a close look, you'll probably be able to find where it has broken. Now it's clear by looking at my heating element the wire did break. But I did replace both the thermostats just in case. These two thermostats did cost another $40, but for peace of mind, I'd rather replace it all while I had the dryer apart. It's good to check the old parts against the new parts to make sure that they are the same size and type. You will find the lead wires of the heating element are kind of stiff, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to get those leads through the ceramic holder. You will want to do that first before you put the heating element back together again. Now, once you push these connectors through, they'll simply fall out again unless you actually bend the two little metal tabs for each connector. When you bend these metal tabs, that stops it from coming back out of the connector. You will need a pair of needle nose pliers to do this. Now, this next part is a bit frustrating and a bit fidgety. You have to line up the holes of the heating element into the housing unit so you can get the screws back in. And it takes a little bit of finesse, finicky maneuvering, squeezing, whatnot to make that happen. But as you get one screw in, then it makes it easier to get the rest in. But please note that sometimes sheet metal screws, once they're removed, won't go back into place. They'll be too loose. So you might have to find some bigger metal screws to fit the unit back together again. I find cursing at inanimate objects always helpful. It is important to replace all of the screws. Now we're going to install the two thermostats. They take 2 screws each. The old ones should work because the packages do not come with screws. Double check that all the screws are firmly secure and holding the heating element firmly together. Make a visual check to ensure that none of the heating element wires are touching the housing, or any part of the housing is touching those curly wires. As you see here, the round end of the heating element is going to go into this receptacle. Go ahead and reconnect all of the wires to the heating element. Refer to your old picture to make sure that you've got the right wires on the right leads. Now we're going to reinstall the heating element into the dryer. It's time to grab a light to help you see what you're going to be doing. This part was pretty awkward. You have to lie on the ground while you've got your hand in holding the heating element up so that you can bring in the stand and position it for it to be screwed down. There are 2 tabs on the stand that fit into the base of the dryer. Now we need to install 3 screws. One screw is for the heating element to the stand that holds that secure, and then 2 screws hold the stand secure to the dryer base. Now we will reconnect the wire that was sitting in front of the heating element. Now we will reinstall the hot air exhaust cover and put back the 3 screws. Now it's time to reinstall the front panel. That panel sits on these 3 hinges on the bottom, and as you put the panel on, remember to reconnect the wire. Once the wire is connected, the front panel should click into place once those push tabs connect. Now we have to reinstall the 2 screws on the left side of the front panel, 2 screws on the right side of the front panel, and 2 screws that were inside the door. Once you've installed those 6 screws, just check the door and make sure it's lined up and it feels solid. Now we'll replace the control panel simply by putting it into the slots on the hinge. And this is also a good time to remove any dust or lint that has collected. Carefully feed the connector wire on the right side through the housing. The panel probably won't close properly unless you do that. Now's a good time to check the dryer before you put the lid on. Reconnect the dryer to the power and start it up. By feeling the exhaust vent at the back, you should feel the heat coming on in about 15 to 20 seconds. When you start to feel the heat, a smile should come across your face. Okay, turn the dryer off and reinstall the top panel. Surprisingly, I found this a little awkward and frustrating to get it all lined up, but with a little patience, it all came together quite nicely. Replace the 2 screws for the lid, one at the back left and the back right. Take this time to reconnect your exhaust vent if you removed it. And congratulations, you probably saved yourself over $300 by fixing this dryer yourself. Thanks for watching.